I really enjoy this suffering. This really gives me satisfaction that I'm fighting.
Hello, and a warm welcome back to the Search for 42. My name is, of course, Felix Becker, and I am your very own success coach on this journey we call life. Now, you know that we are not meant to live this life in isolation. We are a communal species. We're here to help each other, to support each other, to motivate one another. And so I am joined today by Naveed Shah. He's the tech healer on LinkedIn. He's a wonderful human being, a fellow introvert, and I think you're gonna get a lot out of this episode, especially if you're missing that little spark of motivation to take action and change your life. Remember, if you like these conversations, be sure to like and subscribe, rate and review, do all those things while you're listening in so that we can reach a wider audience. Because the more people we can reach, the more people we can help. But let's get all this mumbo jumbo out of the way and get right into my conversation with Naveed Shah. Awesome, Naveed. So nice to connect again. I know I've been actually really looking forward to this conversation again because the last one we had was just so stunning, awesome, powerful, energetic. So let's get right into it. Who are you?
I'm a healer. I would start from it. My name is Naveed Shah. I'm from Pakistan. And why I call myself a healer? Because I believe in a world we are living in, we have been disconnected from the essence of humanity, which is to be there for others, to be there for human fellows, to be there for other people in the service of others, and to help them in any way possible. It's not only about being there with for someone to hand over them money or something like that. Like, it's not being materialistic, it's being emotional, it's being encouraging morally, ethically, whatever support you can give to your human fellow. That just makes you a human and a healer. So that's what I am. And I'm highly driven by a slogan which is to love, respect, and serve humanity, regardless of any distinction. And this slogan drives me, and this slogan makes me a healer. And I'm on a path to spread this message and call more and more people to join this journey and to help and to become healers, to build more and more healers in the world.
I mean, that is so beautiful, and I think that is the essence of how we should all approach our lives. Truly beautiful. I love that. How did you get to be this person? Where did that come from?
There's a long journey that actually molded me or made me this person, which start from childhood. I was born into a conservative family mindset, where I don't blame them. I'm literally grateful for my parents to born in their house and how they uh, helped me grow up. But the way they were brought up, they had that mindset which was conservative, where I don't had the freedom of thought, freedom of choice, any kind of freedom. Even I don't had a freedom to have my own style of haircut or to wear clothes of my own choice. Like, that was, you can see, any kind of freedom. I was just feeling that I'm living in a prison. But I had in my mind, I was curious, constantly observing the world around me, observing things around me, but and always questioned my elder in a respectful manner, that I'm a human being and I may have some, I may not be agree with you, but I have this choice to choose things on my own and to do things that works best for me, and that makes me fulfilled, satisfied. But I was not allowed to do so. So I had so many sleepless nights and crying and everything. And I was highly introvert, sensitive, no friends, no hobbies, no nothing. So this journey kept on for 15 years. And I kept on questioning my elders, asking them to let me do whatever I want to do. I was a guy in a school where I was known as an unbeatable guy. So till my fifth standard, there was every teacher would say that we try our best to cut a little percentage of number from Naveed's paper, but after trying our best, we cannot find any loophole in his paper. He is so perfect in his papers. So my father decided that I would like to devote you to religious education because I think that you will play better role there as well as you are playing in this school education and this worldly education. I was saying that no, I can go for both of them. Like, and I can pursue the religious education on the one side, and on the other side, I can pursue my schooling education. But he actually denied at that moment, and I was only allowed to go for that religious education. So I spent 8 years in that. I memorized the Holy Quran. I went through a lot of other courses, Arabic courses, Sira courses. And after 8 years, while these 8 years I had no friends, I was suddenly cut off from my friends. I was suddenly cut off from my teachers who loved me the most, who cared me the most, and who literally appreciated in every single step of my life. And that appreciation was actually driving me. That was the force behind my perfection that I was getting in my school papers and examination. So these 8 years were the most darkest moment of my life because I was unable to open up to people. I had no one, despite having loving parents and caring parents. I was just not able to express my inner uh, inner pain before them. I was just I always have been a very good at pretending, so I just pretend that I'm doing very well, but inside I was always broken. So that 8 years of journey broken me inside out. And after 8 years, when I was enrolled in school back, I was enrolled in eighth standard. So imagine that from fourth standard I was jumping into the eighth standard. And when I was enrolled in the eighth standard, I failed, bitterly failed in everything because my basics were not clear, my foundations were not clear. So a teacher came and said, Naveed, don't worry, just switch on the school and you will be promoted to the ninth standard. I said, wow, it's a great education system. And luckily, I was just enrolled in the ninth standard and then passed it with very little margin, and then 10th until my 12th standard. I was not a good student, literally a bad student because of all those things that happened in the past. And the whole journey goes on till 2016 when I was for the first time in life I found someone. I went into a relationship with someone whom I found that this person is my soulmate, and I can trust and I can like rely on it for everything. The person won't leave me, and she will be there for the rest of my life. But that relationship ended up very badly in 2018, January 2018. And again, I was slipped to those darkest ages of my life, and I was about to end my life because I thought there is no meaning in my life. I had no friends. Like again, the journey goes on similar. No friends, no hobbies, nothing, no one around me. And then I found something that literally pushed me that I don't want to die a life of a loser. Rather, I'll struggle hard until I'll win or I'll die struggling. But I won't die of a loser, being a loser. Like that was my intention. So I kept on exploring. I kept on uh, thinking about different ways. How can I become a better version of myself? And I decided at that moment that I won't hurt anybody in my life, and I will devote my life to become a healer, to love, to respect, and to serve everyone regardless of any distinction. I won't judge anyone based on status, based on material, based on color, based on profession, based on success. I will treat everyone just as a human fellow, no matter whatever the color he has, no matter whatever the profession he is in, even he if he's a peon, if he is a boss, whatever he is or she is, I'll just treat him or her as a human being, as a fellow human, and I'll be a healer for them whenever they need me, whoever needs me in any time. So that's the whole journey that makes me what I am today.
Wow. Wow. So first of all, thank you for sharing all of that. And I think there's so many parallels in our lives that that really explains why the two of us have jived so well in the last couple of months that we've known each other. Um, I too was struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts throughout my life, and I too was driven in school to be good and just be a good student and always get the highest marks. And for me too, my parents are narcissists, and so my childhood growing up was all about them and not about me, and so I struggled with identity for the longest time as well. I couldn't express myself, right? I was no one ever asked, what does Felix want? It was always about, no, do this, do that, wear this, wear that, just like you. And it really kept me confined. And I think what made it possible is that introvert itself, where I didn't feel like I had the power maybe to, break through from that until I was much older. And also I think the depression, there was some kind of lack of energy with just why bother, right? Um, so I'm kind of curious, and I'm asking maybe for some selfish reasons, because like I said, for me, going to school, I felt like I had to prove something to other people instead of proving to myself that I could. Right nowadays, whenever I do a big project or something, I try to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing it. But I feel like back in school, the grades were not so much about proving it to myself, but rather proving to other people that I am actually capable of doing well in school. What was your perspective on that going through school? Because it sounds like your story was somewhat similar to mine.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I don't. I think I won't be able to answer that. What was my perspective at that time? Because I was so uh, little that I could not. I was not mature enough to make this perspective or to make a decision that what is my purpose to get better scores. But I can tell you that when I came to later on studies, like in after graduation, actually, I was finally allowed after 15 years of struggle to do whatever I want in my life. So just imagine, after 15 years, I got that independence and I pursued masters in international relations, the field that I loved. And I was really passionate about politics, history, and international relations, how a nation works, and all that. So when I was allowed to jump into this field, COVID hit it, and our classes were online. We were having these kind of classes with our teachers, which I really hated because it does not convey the real message, or like at that time it was a very new experience, so we were not used to these kind of tools and these kind of conversations. So and when the COVID ended and we started going to university, I was again becoming the best student in the class. Like after 10 years of journey, like after 10 years, I was again becoming the best, becoming perfectionist. So at that time, I don't had any kind of this perception that I have to prove myself. I even till date, I just want to like do the best in my day or give the best efforts, that when I go to bed to sleep, I should be satisfied that I have done my best and I have done something productive. That's my intention. That was at that time, and it is still. So I would say, even when I was a child, I think if now I am the way I am, I must be like at that time the similar intention was there. So it's not about showing to other people, it's not about proving that I'm doing something great. It's about my personal satisfaction, that whenever I go to bed, whenever I go on holiday, or whenever I take break, I should say that I have done my best.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. That's how I live my life now for sure. It's more about satisfying my needs and coming from the heart. So I was just kind of curious about that. Now, the other part that you mentioned that I obviously we need to talk about is you said you're an introvert. I'm an introvert. So here's two introverts having this amazing conversation that we're gonna blast out on the internet for other people to see. So tell me about what makes you an introvert and how does that shine through in your life?
Okay, so when it comes to introvert or describing myself as an introvert, I would say that from the childhood, I think I was not an introvert guy. The circumstances and the events that happened to me, they made me an introvert. Like in school, I was quite excited student. I would tease everyone in my class. Like wherever I would go, I was just tease people. I was just make jokes and make fun with other students. And I studied in a school, like I'm from the northern areas of Pakistan and my school was in the other province. So there was a little bit kind of racism as well, because people from that side were quite gray and dark brown, and I was white. So people would call me a lal tomato, which is a red tomato in English. So when I would go back to home, I would tell my mother that people call me this red tomato. So she would say that call them black. What can we say? Cows or something like that. So name them like those. And so I was not an introvert at that time, but as the events happened and I was out of school, I was studying this religious education earlier at home, because a teacher would come and teach me alone at home. My father hired a teacher for me particular for my religious education. So I spent 3 years uh, alone, like single person in a class. So I was disconnected to friends. I had no hobbies, no one to play, and even I had siblings, but they were in the similar confined and feeling like in a cage. So they also were going through the similar experiences, but gradually, so I disconnected from my social life from school, and this disconnection still is with me. Like now I would say that it's kind of lack of confidence or lack of appreciation, encouragement that made me introvert. But by nature I was not born an introvert, but environment and the circumstances made me an introvert. But I would say now I really enjoy being an introvert, and it has become one of the most energizing uh, thing in my life. Like even today, if I go to a social event, I literally need 3 to 4 hours to retrieve my energy back and to get back to myself and to connect with my soul. So this is how my introverted journey is, and I'm really enjoying it. And I really enjoy it. I'm proud to be this kind of a person, the who I am today. But I came to know that this INFJ and introvert personality exists in the world during COVID. Before COVID, I did not know anything about it.
So um, first of all, I think one of the points you made about being proud to be an introvert, I think really needs to be hammered in, because I do think that introverts actually make better leaders. And I think we need more of them. And I think we need to empower more of them to step out of that and truly become the leaders that they're meant to be. And that's obviously where you and I agree. And that's the projects that we're
Absolutely,
working on, right?
absolutely. I
Um,
totally agree with that.
Right, I know. As that's why we connect so well. So, yeah, I was curious. Now, I mean, you mentioned it again during COVID. You found out about the INJF, the Enneagram, personality. Um, but COVID also, like you mentioned, changed things, like with Zooms and these online meetings with school and whatnot. You were in Pakistan during COVID. Yeah. So I'm curious. I know the Western perspective of what happened during COVID, right? I was here in the United States, and so I know what happened here. But honestly, I don't know how Pakistan dealt with COVID. I honestly don't know much about the country. So tell me a little bit about how COVID was perceived. What people, did people isolate like we did here? Did the mask frenzy happen? What was it like? How's the medical system in Pakistan? How do people survive COVID?
Yeah, people are very very chilly in Pakistan. They don't bother such kind of things. They don't even take tensions of these things. Like what have seen across the, even when the government would impose lockdowns, people would say that we don't need these kind of lockdowns. We are like strong beings, and we COVID cannot say anything to us. And literally, I would say those who perceived it as a real threat were affected the most. And those, even I got like it was absolutely a COVID. I got fever, I got cold 2 or 3 times. And my university, one of my university fellow, she actually called me and said that you must go for injections and you must go for remedy and all these things. It was during Ramadan, but I said, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm feeling okay. It's a usual kind of thing. So I'm not feeling something, I'm feeling the same laziness. I'm feeling the same weakness. So I'll just have some medicine and some energy drinks and it will be okay. And absolutely, it was okay. And there is another perspective into it, that people are believer on this death perspective, that is eternal, like that has to come. So whoever has a great belief on that thing, like the life will eventually end. So it, like, it gives us another motive. Like, we just have to do whatever we are doing or whatever we love to do, and when the time will come, we will go. No one can stop us now. There is a belief in our, like, a religion, that if your death is written from certain thing, like from COVID, no one can save you. And if it's not written due to COVID, it's written due to another disease or even some kind of heart attack or other thing, it will, COVID can't say you anything. So this is the perspective that people were living with, and even I have experienced it. I have the similar thought, and I think that media has played some kind of a negative role as well. Like on COVID, I have different perspective from the majority of the people. I don't see it as something really disease kind of thing. I don't. That's my personal opinion. People may differ with that, but COVID was a blessing for me, because COVID changed me 99% the person I am today. Even in 2018, I had that perspective after the broken relationship and everything. But COVID gave me time to sit with myself, to be in the room for longer hours, for even days, for weeks, and to reflect on my life, to go deeper inside me, and to find that my inner world is bigger than the outer world. So it was COVID, and COVID, I consider COVID as a blessing in this sense. And I have read a lot during COVID that I haven't read in my life ever, on different kind of subjects like personal development, business, leadership, politics, history, psychology, everything. I haven't religion. So I made the most in the COVID years.
I think there's two very important points that you bring out. One is that death comes for all of us, and just being comfortable with that, and knowing that it'll come at some point. We don't know when, and so maximizing our opportunities every day to really live life to the fullest, to expand our horizons, to elevate ourselves to our highest potential, is so important. But the only way to do that is, just like you mentioned, doing that introspection, right? Taking the time out to figure out who each and every one of us really is deep down inside. And I think that's just such a beautiful and profound insight that you had there. and that COVID gave you that opportunity. But coming back to the COVID thing and to tie it back into what you're doing nowadays, you said obviously the technology changed the way we interact, right? All these Zooms, even what we're doing here right now. I mean, we're on opposite ends of the world, and we're having this amazing conversation, right? I mean, we wouldn't be able to do that without modern technology. So, tell me a little bit about how that technology came into your life, the effect it's had, and what you're trying to do with it nowadays.
I was not a guy who actually adopted technology in the earlier years, and I was actually against it. Even in COVID, my uncle would say that work on Amazon, start a freelancing business, and something like that. And even at that time, I don't had any social media account, no Facebook, no TikTok, no Instagram, anything. Only I had a WhatsApp till COVID. And when I enrolled in university, I just made my Twitter account because one of my best teacher, one of my whom I admired the most, he was actually on Twitter and he would share his thoughts on Twitter. So I said that I would love to engage with him and to follow him and see what he is saying. So I just made my Twitter account in those days, and I was not actually good at technology. I was not using it. I don't had any background of computers technology, and the complete year of COVID I just spent on reading books, a lot of books, keeping my phone away. Even I would give my phone to my mother after evening and say that don't give this phone to me the next day before 10 a.m. And she would literally does not give that phone to me before 10 a.m. next day, and I would only see it again for few minutes, and then I would again keep it that I don't need it. So I was so much disconnected from phone, and that was the reason that I was actually connected with myself. That helped me go deeper into my inner self and to connect with my inner self. But later on, as I started going to university, and when I was enrolled in university, I enrolled in 2020. Like COVID started in 2019, in the last months of 2019, and I was enrolled in 2020, December 2020, in university. So the first semester was online, and I was not used to technology. Even when a teacher said that we have to do it on Zoom, I said, what the hell this Zoom is? How would I use it? Like, I was not even good at it. But I just somehow I went on YouTube and learned it and installed it and started my conversation on it. The teacher would say that you have to keep your cameras on, and I would say that if this is the case, I'm not going to take a single class even. And I just requested my teachers that I'm sorry I cannot appear on cameras. I am this introvert person, and I don't know the other students, so it's hard for me to be on camera and speak. So if you want me to speak and engage in the classroom, then please allow me to be off camera during the classes. So they were so kind and they allowed me. And even one teacher was not kind enough to allow me. So when my term would came for presentation, I would just skip the class. So that's how I would do. And later on, as I was promoted to my next semesters, to third and then fourth final semester, I opted for research. And obviously in research you needed this computer for everything, and you had to have knowledge about uh, everything, this technology. Also research, for research you have to have a good command over research tools, Google Scholars, and research itself. And also to present your perspective, you have to be good in presentations to use these softwares. So I just started somehow with it myself. Like, I haven't go to any kind of academy to learn. And in the last days of university, I was just thinking that what I'll be doing after the university. So in those days I was a little bit used to know about this e-commerce world, and I had some successful stories before me. So I thought that I will step into this industry. And in September 2022, I fully like opted this technological world and this e-commerce industry. And before that I had no experience of it.
That's fascinating, and I think an important part that you mentioned that I think some people fail to understand is that digital decontamination. Right, when you handed your phone to your mother and said, "Don't give this to me before 10 a.m." is so important to do that deep introspection, to ground ourselves, to get back in with who we are as individuals, because we're as human beings, we're not meant to constantly be on our phone, right? I mean, that's not how we came to be. We're meant to be with other human beings in a real setting, and that's like you mentioned before. That's one of the drawbacks of this modern technology. Yes, we can meet and we can have these amazing conversations across the globe, but it still takes away that magical energy you get from being in the same room with other people. So, you call. I can kind of see the puzzle pieces coming together here, but you call yourself a tech healer. So, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. The tech healer journey starts with it's a very recent journey. Even I was and another thing. Even I do those kind of exercise even these days. Those disconnecting from technology. Even yesterday, I was having some kind of mental traumas, so I just kept my phone away, my laptop, and I haven't even appeared on LinkedIn and did nothing the whole day. I just enjoyed being with myself. I even read a book that I'm assigned to read on daily basis from my coach, and I just texted my coach in the evening that I haven't done anything today, and he was curious that what happened, there might be something wrong, but I said no, nothing is wrong. I just wanted to be with myself for some time, so I just spent the whole day disconnecting with devices. And I truly believe we have to do these kind of exercises. You all know Harari calls it fasting, like fasting from everything, fasting from consuming, fasting from technology, fasting from food, and fasting from meeting with people. So you have to give yourself time. So coming back to the question, when I left university in September 2022, I jumped on to an e-commerce business. All of a sudden, I decided that I have to build an e-commerce marketplace, particularly leather niche-based marketplace, because leather is quite cheap in Pakistan, and I had that a bit attachment to leather because it's a natural thing. So nature quite attracts me. So I just started this business. I manufactured a lot of products: shoes, leather bags, wallets, and jackets, many other things. And I was not even aware to anything like any digital marketing or e-commerce, how to run this business. So I hired a digital marketing agency, and they showed me you can say stars in the day, while in reality there are no stars in the day. I call it that showing someone stars in the day is like when people lie to you that there are stars in the day. I'll show you stars in the day, but in reality there are no stars in the day. Stars are only in the nights. So they actually they had treat they did not show me the right path how to do these things, so I just invested whatever I had. And that business ended up very badly. Even today I had a lot of products at my home, and my mother used to ask me that you have wasted a lot of money and you have wasted your struggle and everything. But I say that it's part of learning, and it taught me many things. So what it taught me, this experience, it compelled me to learn everything that a digital marketing agency can do. So I learned how to build website, I learned how to brand, how to create content. I was good at research from university, so research is quite okay to me. Like I don't need to have put many much effort into it. I just go and can do on any topic. That's what I love doing. So I just learned building websites, digital marketing. And graphic designing, even video editing, and a lot of things. I learned a lot of things during all those times. And in May 2023, I actually got my first client who is a coach and who is still with me. And I worked with him as a virtual assistant. So I provided him services as in managing his tasks, research, and LinkedIn account, Sales Navigator, to find clients for him. So while I was working with him, I actually find this coaching industry very compelling, and it was something that spoke to my heart. So I started to read more about it, to know more about it, how this industry is working and how it's. I was all earlier. I was also reading books on personal development and self help that was quite closer to this coaching industry, but this time I was specific on this life coaching model and life coaching experiment. So when I learned about this industry, I made my mind that instead of working with everyone like across the industries, I have to niche down my narrow down my services as well as narrow down my ideal clients, and I should only work with them, with those clients who could teach me something, because I was passionate about this coaching industry. I really wanted to be in this industry. So I thought that it will serve me two interests. On the one side, it will teach me something about, like, if I'm working with coaches, they will obviously teach me a lot of things about their experiences and everything. And the other thing, I can also earn from it. So it served the both of the interests. They are very basic and they were quite important to me. So from May to 2023, I started on this journey. At that time, there was no concept of the tech healer. I just started through a referral, and I was not even active on LinkedIn. I was not. I don't had even website and anything. So I just got a client, and even the client said to me that you don't need to worry. Like, I was not even aware of using those project management tools. So he taught me actually how to use it. Even he was paying me and he was teaching me also. So it's very kind of him, and I'm really grateful that I found someone like this, who is not a boss but a friend of mine, and he's a good friend till date, and we are still connected. We still work with each other. So in October, actually, I had a conversation with Tracy. She's from Canada, and she actually asked about my journey. So when I told her that I am, on the one side, I am a healer for introverts and I help people heal. So she said, why don't you use this tech healer, like while you are helping on the tech side? So why don't you align these two things, and it will like build your brand around this healing concept. So on that day, I decided, like, I changed my profile, I changed my business name. Before, earlier it was Introva. Introva is also from Introverts. Like, intro is from Introverts and VA is from virtual assistant. So Introva was the combination of introverts and virtual assistants. So it was Introva. And then I just switched this name into this tech healer, and still the journey is going on. I'm more clear about this field. I'm just helping coaches and consultants, helping them prevent burnout through custom automation. I'm working with them as an assistant, virtual assistant, researcher, as well as currently I'm working on building coaching chatbots, how to build coaching chatbots for coaches in order to help them to like before finalizing the client, the client will go through that chatbot process, and in that process the client will realize that this coach is ideal for me, and also the coach will also realize that this client and me, like, they're aligned with each other values. So I'm working on that model, and this is how the tech healer came into being.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I truly love that journey that you've been through. So, somebody listening to this, who is your ideal client? Like, who are the people that you want reaching out to you, who you can help?
As I told you, my ideal clients, I'm specifically focusing on coaches, people who are working in this coaching industry. Most important to me are life coaches, but I have some leadership coaches as well, and as well as business consultants. I have worked with them. on project to project basis. Like they would hire me for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or for a few hours for some research projects or something like that. So this is the category that I work with. That either that is in life coaching, that is ideal for me because that will give me an opportunity to learn, and that's what I would love to step into in the near future, the industry. And the leadership, as introverts we know that how a leader is and how to be a good leader. So leadership coaches and business consultants, these are the ideal clients with whom I work and with to whom I provide my services.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, and one thing you mentioned earlier is that the relationship is not just about earning for you; it's also about learning for you, right? And I absolutely agree with that. And I'm also very selective in who I take on as clients in my coaching practice because, there's many things I can give. There's many people I can help, but I too want some personal growth out of that relationship as well. So I'm very selective in who I choose too, but on the learning side of things, let's learn a little bit more about Naveed. I wrote a book, The Simple Networking Tool, a couple months ago, and it's been a complete game changer for my own networking on LinkedIn. Honestly, indirectly, the book is the reason we are having this conversation today. It's really through one of the posts that were generated as a result of the book that you and I even got to talk. So I want to ask you just a few questions out of the book to learn more about you. So, what is a place you haven't been to yet but really want to visit?
What's the one place that I haven't been yet but I really want to visit?
Yes.
I won't say it's a single one, but I just love nature. So, and yeah, I would say it's Poland.
Poland. That's an interesting choice. Tell me more about Poland. Where does Poland come in?
Actually, Poland comes. I really watch a lot of videos. I used to watch, not at the moment. I used to watch a lot of videos about these travelers who would travel across the Poland, and there was one female who was actually from I think Bulgaria or something like that, and she was also to Pakistan. And then so I would follow her, that where she's going and how she is exploring different places. So I used to watch every episode of her, and it would on air on every Friday. So I would just wait for it. I was quite excited about that because I don't had that opportunity to go to those places. So I was just going there, like in watching the videos. So she was in Poland, and she actually went to a place that was so beautiful that still the image is still before me. And that was uphill on the mountain, the only built house made with woods, completely woods, and a single family of two-person, one male and female, like they were couples. They were living there and they were accommodating people. And there were no connection, no internet, no mobile phone, no. So that was quite disconnected from everything. And there will be a single person down the hill who would take these people, whoever wants to come there to visit that place or to stay at that place. And the couple who was actually organizing this place, they would organize everything. They would use woods to make food, make woods to like boil water for the person who is there, in order to shower or something, or any for any usage. And it was, the temperature was in minus, but I still could feel the environment and the beauty and the calmness and the disconnection from distraction actually. So I just found that place on YouTube, but I made that decision that someday I'm gonna go there.
That's so awesome. So speaking of travel, then, would you rather get to your destination quickly and spend more time there, or take your time and enjoy the journey instead?
Before that, before few few months before, I had this in my mind that I think achievement gives you more satisfaction. But now I think suffering gives you more satisfaction. People may not believe this, but I really enjoy this suffering. This really gives me satisfaction that I'm fighting. This fighting kind of attitude and this sportsman spirit that I'm fighting no matter what, no matter how much how much hard and how much tough the circumstances are. I'm just proud of myself that I'm fighting. So I would say the journey.
Yeah, and I think the important part that you mentioned there is, the harder we fight, right? The more sacrifice we have to make to get there, the higher the reward at the end, right? I mean, it just feels much more satisfying. All right, my last question. This is my favorite one. It's the oddest one, but I just love asking it. Would you rather have a cat that barks or a dog that meows?
Cat that barks and dog that meows. Yeah, it's quite unnatural. It's impossible. Like a cat cannot bark and a dog cannot. So how would I select? Like, but as I think I'm not animal lover, so I haven't been into that experience. So I can't make a I one can't make one of them. But in if I go to this in our religious perspective, like the traditional one, in that the people prefer cat rather than a dog.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. We'll take that. Now, the last question I have for you actually doesn't come from me. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that every guest gets to ask the next guest a question. So the last person I recorded with was Spencer Cox, and he would like to know: would you rather be the worst lover in the world, but people think you're the best, or be the best lover in the world and people think you're the worst?
I think the second one, the people think that I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's awesome. So yeah, Naveed, I totally failed to give you the opportunity to ask the next guest the question. So here we are, jumping in real quick. But what question would you like to ask the next quest, not knowing who that person is or when we're even going to record that episode?
The one question I would ask to someone is how I would like it would be around this humanity kind of thing, that what we can do to bring back humanity to the essence, to its essence. What is, I think that will be the question, that how can we bring back humanity to its essence. I think we are so much, we have become artificial rather than natural beings. So we are artificial being right now mostly. There are a lot of good people in the world, but the way technology is evolving and the way this artificial world is surrounding us, we are becoming more artificial. So I would say that what is the way forward to get back to the essence of humanity? And I would love the answer, whoever answers it. I'll be desperately waiting for it, because this is my mission and I am on it. And I would love to have others people perspective on this.
I love that. All right, Naveed, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you? How should they reach out?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on my website. I'll just share the link with you. It's simply naveedshah.me, and they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I don't use any other platforms because I told you I'm not very much fond of this technological world. Though I am giving the services about technology, but it's because I just hate that 9 to 5 cycle and that traditional job kind of thing. So I just do these services. It gives me freedom of time, freedom of location, and freedom of everything. I'm not answerable to anyone, so I am putting my best efforts. So they can just reach out to me on my website or on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to have conversation with anyone from anywhere. I just love to speak to a lot of people and love to know about their journey and share mine, because I truly believe that our stories actually uh, can bring change in the world.
I agree. I'll make sure all the links are in the description below for people to find you more easily. And if you're not connected with Naveed on LinkedIn, please do so. His stuff, the stuff that he posts, truly is inspirational. There's a lot of value to be gained. I certainly love everything he posts. So uh, be sure to connect with him on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. All right. Any final last words from you to the world?
I would say that the world is divided and the world is dividing more. So just try to be a healer and try to connect people, try to bring humanity, try to connect with the essence of humanity, that is to love, to respect, and to serve others. There is a saying of one of the greatest leaders in the history of humanity, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who has a great impact on my life. He says that the best one amongst you is the one who is good for others. He does not say that who is a Muslim or who is a Christian or who is whatever, who believes in this and that. He said the best one amongst you is the one who is good or beneficial for others, regardless of any uh, distinction. So that's my message, to become a healer.
I love that. That is beautiful. And we're going to end it right here because there's just no better way to end this podcast. All right. I really hope you enjoyed that. The questions that I asked towards the end are from my new book, The Simple Networking Tool. It's a great book that redefines how we network. It's all about who someone is and not what they are. So if you want to get your own book, it's available on Amazon. If you want to learn more, there's videos about it here on YouTube. So you can check out this amazing new social science experiment. I'm so excited for it. If you do get a book and you do start your own, please let me know how it goes and what your experience is like. I'm working on the second edition and I want to make it the best one yet. So be sure to tag me, let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching.